Ms. Karen Bogenschneider, who recently presented on the panel this morning and has agreed to speak to us this afternoon on some examples of family-focused programs that work. So I'll give the floor to Karen.
I don't have the rich examples that you have, Cindy, but in my writing I looked through a lot of research. Now, this is mostly done in the United States about how important families are in different programs. So just in general, in education, there's a lot of evidence that kids do better when parents are involved. And this, we have evidence from preschool to secondary school. When parents are involved, kids get better grades, they drop out less often, they do their homework better, just a number of different outcomes. In healthcare, there's a lot of evidence in the healthcare field that family is like the hidden agent of healthcare. And when you think about in your own family, you know, where do you learn how you're going to eat, how much you exercise? This is all learned in the family. So these patterns that last a lifetime are learned in the family. And when you think about whether somebody gets ill, who diagnoses the illness? It's a family member, right, who notices that the person is not doing as well. When you have acute care, so you have to go into the hospital for surgery, in the United States they send people home before they're really well. And so it's a family that is taking care of the person early, right, when they come home from the hospital. And then the long-term recovery is also the person who's changing the food, who's making different foods, who's making sure the medicines are taken, is usually a family member. There was a very interesting set of studies done on juvenile crime, which unfortunately is a big problem in the United States. So it's a very good research institute. They looked through over 180 studies, and they used very high quality evaluations. So they had to meet certain standards before they would include them in the study. And they came up with the 6 best programs based on a review of all the research in the United States. And when I looked at these, the researchers didn't look at this, but when I looked at them, the 5 best intervention programs and the single best prevention program were all family approaches. They all included the family. There's been studies of substance abuse when kids are involved in drug use and substance abuse. They've compared the effectiveness of just focusing on the kid versus focusing on the family. And when they focus on the family and try to change family dynamics, they're 9 times more effective than when they just focus on the child. When you look at care of the elderly, family caregiving is more effective, it's more efficient. It does put a lot of strain on the family caregiver. So that's something else we have to think about, is how much strain we're putting on the families that are doing it. And even when we look at prisoner reentry, so the United States has a dubious distinction of incarcerating more people than any other country in the world. So we have a lot of prisoners returning to society. And those who are most apt to return and not commit an additional crime, not get involved in drugs, are ones where they have family support. But again, many of these families are very fragile, so it helps the prisoner, but there still is a lot of pressure on that fragile family.